if you're buying cards after the first 6 weeks, you're probably paying too much for your cards. Now, this one comes from Jeezy Keen. He said, very valid. The percentage of players' value that increases after the 3-month mark is very low. Only rookies, and usually the ones who cone out of nowhere, or come out of nowhere, I guess he meant. And that is from the pyramid scheme video that I put out earlier this week. So yeah, like the hobby is moving really, really fast, like faster than I've ever seen. And I said last week's show that it takes about 6 weeks basically for all the hype and all the hobby. So if you're buying cards after the first 6 weeks, you're probably paying too much for your cards. Now again, so 6 weeks is about a month and a half. So if you're buying a card 2 months after all the hype, you're paying, let's say, 10 or 15% more than what the card is actually worth. It's not that big a deal. If you're a collector, it's not that big a deal. But if you're buying the card 3, 4, or 5 months after all the hype, you are legitimately paying anywhere from 40 to 60% more than that card is worth. So you really have to kind of look at that and say, do I really want this card? Because if you think you're buying a card to sell it on the back end, there's no more buyers after that. Like, the hobby is no longer at that point where everybody that buys, there's somebody who wants to buy it for more. There's a ceiling to this hobby now, and so everybody needs to be aware of that. So you got 6 weeks to make a profit, and after that, you're buying cards for collections. That's fine. You're paying about 10 to 15% more than what the card is worth, but again, not that big a deal. But if you're buying it 3, 4, 5 months after all the hype, you are paying anywhere from 40 to 60% more than you should. So let's get to the next comment. This one.